Well, talk first of all about being part of this 2014 induction class for Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, it's Chris Carter, when he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, he said, I'm honored that the NFL thought that the sports or the story of the National Football League couldn't be told without Chris Carter. Well, I feel the same way with Leslie O'Neal and Jim, this class, and Jim Thorpe and Mickey Mantle and the great ones that's gone before me and kind of set the stage. And so I'm still scratching my head to say, how did J.C. Watts make that lineup? But I am honored, and it's quite a deal, and looking forward to it.
What did you think when you got the call? Were you surprised? Was it out of the blue? What'd you think?
Well, it was out of the blue. I really, my life it goes at such a pace that most of my focus is family and grandkids and trying to keep all the dots connected in the business world. And Eddie called and left me a message on my cell phone, actually. And so it was out of the blue, but nevertheless, I couldn't have been more honored.
Well, you mentioned sort of keeping up with everybody, and obviously your son at Tulsa these last couple years. What's it been like to watch him go through his career? I mean, you obviously a sort of situation you know pretty well.
Well, Jenny, it's been fun being I guess a football dad. I started out a little bit trepidatious and a little bit nervous and thinking, sitting in the stands, how are you going to respond when they boo your son or he fumbles the ball or misses a pass? But, Tulsa's been a great fit. Coach Blankenship and the staff, they've done a great job with Trey, and he's had a great career, and hopefully he can get drafted. But he says to me he'll end up in the football business, coaching, doing something there. But it's been fun to watch, and it's been fun to see him live out what you teach and preach to your kids, those old fundamental values of hard work, sacrifice, commitment, the process of trying to be good or be great. Those values have been affirmed, and it's kind of good that I can kind of whisper in his ear and say, I told you so.
Nice as a parent to do that every once in a while.
That's right. That's right.
Lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your alma mater, obviously always sort of in the fore in the college football world. What are your thoughts right now about sort of the state of things with the Sooners? Well,
I'm probably no different than other 3.5 million Okies that, we were all shocked on January 3rd when they beat Alabama. But, the conversation's been around Trevor Knight. I don't think they missed it, back in the spring and in the fall when he was, announced as the quarterback. I don't think they missed it. I think Trevor gives them their best chance to win. I've said that all along. I said it the week of the game. And, of course, we had not seen that Trevor Knight before. But I think the coaches, they knew that Trevor Knight was in there somewhere. And, of course, he performed well. And they put a solid game together in every phase of the game. And at the end of the day, we won by 2 touchdowns instead of losing by 2 touchdowns. So we've all kind of felt like that team existed somewhere, and that night it showed up.
Okay, lastly, as a guy that's been in the Sooner spotlight, Trevor's about to really be in the Sooner spotlight. Do you have any advice for him?
When I took over from Thomas Lott, Thomas had just set the world on fire, and of course, taking over for Steve Davis and that succession of quarterbacks. My thing is just take it a play at a time. I'm not a Thomas Lott. Trevor Knight's and not a J.C. Watts or Steve Davis or Sam Bradford. He's a unique quarterback that has a unique skill set for today's college football. And we even see his profile in the National Football League with Russell Wilson and Kaepernick and all those guys. So he's got the skill set. He's going to be surrounded with good enough talent on offense and defense that he doesn't need to try to win it by him. Just take it a game at a time, a play at a time. And what we saw in the Sugar Bowl tells me that he's got the equipment. Just go out and play your game and be who you are, and he'll be fine.
You and 3.5 million others will be watching, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thanks, JC.
Thanks, Jenny. Good to see you.